For a few days now, I've been grappling with this idea of how to present this topic. And I've actually been grappling with the topic for over 10 years. I first wrote about it in 2010. And we've been talking all along about being the observer. But in Zen and being mindful, there's also this idea of being completely immersed in whatever you're doing, losing yourself, losing any idea of yourself, any self-consciousness, and being so immersed in it that you experience what psychologists call a state of flow. So there's these two seemingly opposing ideas, right? There's being the observer and not getting sucked in and viewing life, and then there's this other idea of being immersed in it and getting the rewards that come from that. Flow is considered a very positive state in psychology. It's part of self-actualization according to Maslow. It's a positive, they're both positive ideas, right? Like we've been talking about being the observer for weeks now, it seems like. So how do we approach this seemingly dichotomous state? Well, in thinking about it, I identify different conscious states, not including sleep and anything that comes with sleep. Okay, so wakeful states of consciousness. So there's the two I identified, which are both positive, and then the ones that I would identify as less positive are what psychologists call default mode network, where we're just kind of drifting, and like we can do something so automatically that our mind wanders, and our mind decides where it's wandering. We don't consciously have any effect on that. It's just wandering wherever it wants to wander, and we're kind of caught up in our mind, and part of our mind is focused on whatever task that's seemingly automatic that we're doing, such as driving, or whatever you're really good at that you do almost unconsciously. There's that mind state, and then there's another mind state which requires conscious effort, like if I'm writing a note for a session after I see a client, like that takes my conscious effort, so I'm putting my effort toward that, and that's not a negative mind state. That's also like concentrated effort, but it's not in any way what we're talking about helping us to become more Buddha-like, right? There's those four, and then I would say there's maybe a fifth, and this is just where my theory's at right now. It could develop further, but I would say the fifth is when we're just dragged along by life, where we think we're being ourselves, but we're actually just reacting out of a blend of conditioning, genetics, and environment. Okay, like these things are acting upon us and affecting the way we behave. So there, we have these 5 different mind states, and different ones are useful at different times. But what we're trying to impart, and at least what I'm trying to do, this is the first video in this section, right, about observer versus being. That's what I'm calling it. Like, being is when we're engrossed in what we're doing. It's usually something enjoyable, often something creative, that we just lose any sense of self in, and we lose the sense of time, and we just thoroughly enjoy it. The goal over the next few days, I guess, is to try to lose yourself in something, whether it's painting or music or whatever you really enjoy doing, and kind of recognize that state also as a Zen state. All right, thanks.